Welcome in to another episode of 4th and 5 presented by Ortho Arkansas. And the question is, can Arkansas beat LSU? They just came off a big-time win at home against a very good Ole Miss team. And so to answer your question, I will say, yes, they can definitely beat LSU. The real question is, will they beat LSU? We'll see how much time they've had to prep, and the things that I saw on tape, I already saw tendencies that LSU likes to do. So this week's breakdown is going to be against LSU. Later on in the week, we're going to take a deeper look into the big guys up front, defensive line and offensive line. That's going to come thanks to Let Grant Cook. Very excited about that. That is now sponsored throughout the entire rest of the year. Matt Harris, former Razorback, hopefully he comes on this week to really break down the defense, take a look at that secondary and things they like to do. But right now, I'm going to tell you my first initial thoughts of things that I saw of why I do believe if Arkansas shows up to play and they've done what they needed to do as far as a lot of prep work on bye week, why I think they should come out on this game, at least at the end of the fourth quarter. It's going to be up to them to pull this out or not. I guess we'll just wait and see if that's what happens. So let's go and hop right into the tape of LSU against Ole Miss. And what I like to do, I like to start with the first drives of the game. What that does, that tells me of what they've been working on all week, the tone that they're trying to set, and what they're trying to implement. You can really tell a lot just based off the first drives of the game. So LSU had the ball first on offense. I'll start with this first down right here. And one thing that kind of jumped off to me is up front, specifically the center position. As you can kind of see right here, I would say that's going to be their weakest point on their offensive line. And so we have to figure out a way to attack their center, which y'all may be actually thinking right now, based off what we did against Tennessee. In the middle of that defense, Eric Gregory, Cam Ball had an awesome game. If they can keep that up, I'm telling you, the interior is going to be big because their quarterback really likes to step up in the pocket. If we can take away that option, we may be all right on that defense side of the ball. We already know what our DBs are capable of. Let's help them out a little bit by trying to get a little bit more pressure with our front four or three, depending on what type of defense we like to run. So you can see right here, first play of the game. Doesn't do very well. Now, the running back did a good job of making a few miss, picked up some yards. 2nd and 3. This is also what I like to do is get this guy outside of the pocket. He's actually pretty good on the run. But this is what's interesting to me right here. This is a play that after I go back and watch, now they tried to throw it to their tight end, who was he's a real deal. This is going to be the first time that we've actually had to pay attention to a tight end because this dude can ball. I think he may be their leading receiver. Big-time target, extremely athletic, and a playmaker. But you can see right here what they tried to do with this concept. It's a lot like what we did against Texas A&M when Tesla came in motion and Isaiah Satania kind of ran a route to try to create some traffic to let Tesla come out to the flat to be open. However, when I think about that play versus this play, we ran it in man-to-man coverage. Tesla came over, if y'all remember, if y'all really watch 4th and 5, somebody followed him. A huge indication it's man-to-man. Not so good against zone. Well, you can see right here the safeties. If you've been watching long enough now, you can assume based off right here before the snap, they're dropping back into those deep halves off the hash, cover 2, okay? In cover 2, that means this corner is going to have the flat. So this concept really isn't your best option. And you would expect a quarterback to potentially see that and know that the flat may not be your first read. You can see he thought that was going to, be a man-to-man mesh, but this corner did a great job passing it off and right there to make sure that he was going to be a part of that pass deflection right there. So right now what I saw them try to establish run a game, they have some issues inside. I believe they didn't rush for a lot of yards, under 100, somewhere under that under 90 mark, but they did throw it. This guy can throw. I'll show you some more of that. But, yeah, they tried to establish that, try to get him out of the pocket, move around a little bit to keep the defense on their toes, even though he's a very great in-pocket passer. And I don't think he does much pre-snap reading. I think he relies all the way on his offensive coordinator because that was a very easy cover to look. You wouldn't think to throw it into the flat where that corner is going to be waiting on you. All right, let's go ahead and get to the other side of the ball. I'm going to show you some things that Ole Miss did that should have a lot of Razorbacks very excited. They tell all before the snap with their safeties. I mean, their safeties do a bad job at moving way too soon before the snap, and they give away everything. So we always say, look at the safeties. The rotation lets you know where pressure is coming from if they're going to have one high potential man-to-man, if they're going to be split with cover two. Before every snap, you see him moving all the time. Take a look at this first play right here. You can see him creeping up to the line of scrimmage, just barely creeping up. See it once again. And so what that indicates, they're going to get into some type of one-high safety man-to-man look. This is why that guy was able to scream downfield. So what do? A 2nd and 15. You can see the safeties once again, see him creeping. Now, it doesn't take much, but it's enough of an indicator. And also, too, when I talked about the hashes, if you have a safety right in the middle of those hashes, once again, an indicator, single high safety. It's going to be man-to-man. And look here. This is what's interesting. The second snap for Ole Miss on offense should have been an easy 80-yard touchdown. Look at that. Blew past the defense, got behind them, knew pre-snap read exactly what it's going to be, and just easy. Like I said, their second offensive play should have been a touchdown. I'm also going to show you, too, even though LSU won, Ole Miss left so many points on the board. This game shouldn't have been close. LSU was lucky to walk out of this one with a win. All right, let's keep it going. Pick up on a 3rd and 15. And once again, what have we talked about, too, about safeties, especially when they line up over other guys covering the slot? This is the biggest indicator that pressure is coming off this edge. You'll see it as I pause right here. See that, right? You know for sure this guy over the slot is coming because that safety came down. Once again, their safeties tell everything. As soon as that safety came down, you understand where pressure is coming from. This should have been checked, in my opinion. I don't know why you would run into this. Just very fascinating to see on tape. And you better believe Bobby Petrino is going to see all of that. All right, let's get back to the offensive side of the ball. I'm going to tell you why this guy probably scares me more than any other quarterback that we played this year, because there's been times, Arkansas, when we play teams, we sometimes let that quarterback sit in the pocket quite a bit, all right? But our DBs have just done an unbelievable job in coverage, especially when they're in coverage for a while. Now, I think that's going to be a different ball game if that happens, because this quarterback is a little bit better of understanding concepts and letting things open up, and he can throw that ball pretty good too. All right, so you can see right here a 3rd and 11. Ole Miss only bringing 3, plenty of time in the pocket. He knows what type of coverage you're going to get on the outside. Now, this ended up not going out very well because the receiver stumbled out of bounds. But once again, quarterback knew the concept, exactly what's happening, potentially could have picked up the first on a 3rd and 11. Let's get to another 3rd down right here, 3rd and 10. LSU loves to move their guys in motion. Quite a bit. You can see it going on right here. But that hopefully gives them indicators, not a lot of movement on the defensive side of the ball. So you would assume some type of zone that they're going to run since you don't have guys running around, or maybe the safeties may be helping out everyone else, maybe in man, based off who's number 1, who's number 2. It just helps you get some kind of indicator. But you can see right here at the snap of the ball, no pressure coming. This guy has time. He has time. And watch how he makes this play develop. This has been a lot of what has gone on for Arkansas right here, and our DBs have stepped up in a big way. He understands the concept. You have a guy pushing the top off the defense. You have another crosser coming. What that's doing is slowly trying to open up these passing lanes for his number 1 intended target to come underneath and open, which is there. And this is a spot where our DBs have just done great. They've been all over him. Now, do I think we're going to keep up that effort? Hopefully, but that's just a lot to ask from your DBs to be in coverage that long and have these huge windows to try to stay on a guy man-to-man. At the same time, I really can't doubt our DBs because they haven't shown us yet on tape that they can't handle that. All right, let's keep it going. Another 3rd and 13. And once again, more motion, trying to get indicators on the defensive side of the ball. Only bring in 3 right here, and let's see what happens. This is what I'm talking about when you give this guy time. I mean, he just understands the concept. Once again, it's almost like the exact same play before. You have a guy running in the middle of the field. You have these crossers coming. All that's going to do is make all these zone defenders kind of stretch and open up these windows. And he knows for a fact where he wants to go with this ball, number 2. But this is what makes him a little bit different than guys we've played so far this year. There's a guy in the way, this linebacker, and he needs to get him up out of there. So what does he do? He at this point right here, there we go. He looks to the left because he wants that linebacker to go with this crosser coming in his face. And even though that DB behind him is picking up that area, he wants the middle of the field. So as soon as he looks, he takes all the defenders with him, And watch how fast he throws this ball to the middle of the field. He knew exactly where he was going. Just a great job with your eyes. We talk about that all the time. The eyes, the eyes, the eyes. That was pretty cool to watch by that quarterback. Let's pick up a 1st and 10 right here. Once again, a great job stepping up in the pocket, keeping his eyes down the field. I said, this is why this guy scares me just a little bit more, with his ability to understand where his guys are and leading them to open spots in the field. And dangerous right here. Look at that mesh point. You really can't tell if this is a run or a pass, if he's going to pull it. What that does is make these safeties just jump up. And that's going to put your DBs in a very difficult situation right here. The LSU defender does a great job coming off the ball, and this DB is just in a bad spot with no help. Great play design. This is going to be where our DBs, red zone, be high alert on these plays right here, because you still have to commit to stopping the run with the safeties and the linebackers. DBs, they need to make sure they understand, be physical right here and not let a guy just run free for an easy throw and catch. Very difficult to guard when that happens. Let's pick up another one right here, 4th and 5. 4th and 5, how about that? This was the play that sent them into overtime, and this is just bragging on this guy's arm. Watch when he throws this ball. I talk about Talon quite a bit. He usually waits to see it open up before he throws it, and he gets the ball laid out sometimes, and it sometimes allows DBs to get their hand on it or sometimes throw behind. I mean, just look at when he releases this. I mean, right now you can kind of see this guy's not even open. He's throwing him open, understanding the concepts of what's going on, and he's not waiting until he creates more space. That's just a big-time throw. So very impressive from the LSU quarterback right there. All right, let's go ahead and get on the other side of the ball. All right, so this, once again, was that first drive of the game. The second play should have been a touchdown at the gate. I'm going to show you how much LSU actually left on the board, which would make Arkansas fans extremely excited if we can watch this tape and see all these tendencies that LSU puts on the defense side of the ball. And Coach Petrino is going to dial it up. The middle of the field is going to be huge for us if we can take advantage of when they get into cover 2. That's where you're going to see Isaiah Satania. That's where you're going to see Isaac Tesla. Hopefully see a Luke Haas. This would be a great week for Haas to get going and control the middle of the field, because I think with the way Armstrong is playing, they're going to be outside all day long and really pay attention to him and make it difficult for him to be open. So you can see right here, snap of the ball. You see those safeties? Come on, say it with me, 4th and 5, fam. I think we're starting to pick up on it. As soon as they go out this way, cover 2 look, middle of the field is exactly where you want to live. And you can see Dart does a great job understanding that coverage and knows where that money spot is, gets behind that linebacker who's covering the middle of the field. It's easy to get behind those guys, especially with speed in the middle. You have to keep attacking that to keep those safeties safe and hopefully get a team out of that situation. Try to go back to one high man so you can isolate guys like Andrew Armstrong. All right, let's get down here to a 3rd and 6. I put this on tape because, once again, our biggest thing, what we've shown so far this year, the weakest part of our offensive line is the right side of that offensive line. And you can see right here the talent that they do have up front. This is not the best defensive front we've seen all year, I'll tell you that. But still, if they try their best to try to isolate our guys, specifically Blackstock, who did much better last week, we could find ourselves in some trouble. You can see this 57 right here, as Grant Cook would say, setting a little too flat, not getting depth, and now gives this guy a 2-way window. Grant, did I say that right? I guess we'll talk about it later in the week with Grant Cook, that this allows this guy to come underneath. He ends up having to hold this guy. Not good for this guy moving forward. All right, let's go ahead and get into this 3rd and 16. You can see, so all right, after that hold call, I kind of want to just let this run out to let you show they were just in scoring position, had chance to put points on the board, just missed a field goal. Unfortunate right there, but not too long after that, they get right back on the field and have this play, an interception. So they missed the field goal, they get this interception, and then they run this play right here, a little trying to take advantage of the time right here. It gets to a 4th and 1. I'm just going to let this play out, okay? So a lot what we did last year, Sam Pittman actually brought this up. I'm going to get to the point right here and press pause. All right. Sam Pittman brought this up sometimes with the way Browse would go, and Enos tried to adopt a little bit to make KJ Jefferson comfortable. Sometimes coaches like to go so fast, and sometimes it runs them in to the wrong front, and they're calling the wrong play. Coach Petrino likes to see what we got going on and call the right play, no wasted plays. And so what Ole Miss did right here, they lined up to the ball, and looking at this right now, if you had a choice, would you run to the right side of the line of scrimmage or the left side of the line of scrimmage? Because there's literally no one on the left side of the line of scrimmage. LSU is so confused. They're all over the place. And this is the gamble that you take when you're a hurry-up offense, and they just gambled wrong, which you hate it in a 4th-and-1 situation. And then everybody's crashing down, just kind of going to a spot, and that's putting your receiver on this monster number 4. As we press play, just works his way into the backfield. You can see him right there. Let's go back just a little bit. You don't want that matchup at all, especially for a receiver on 4th-and-1. Just look at the left side line of scrimmage. Points again left on the board. Missed field goal, another opportunity to get 6, potentially 7. Should potentially be 10-0 right now. And LSU knows it. They got away very fortunate in these situations. All right, let's pick this up, a 3rd and 7. And this is another thing I want to talk about, our running game. Okay, so Jaquindon Jackson, now Braylon Russell, our young guy. We have opportunities coming up. So look at these LSU linebackers. A lot what we talked about on tape is Jaquindon, the cutback king. He likes to push the edge, and he looks for that window. He puts his foot in the ground. He makes one cut and gets north and south. He's great at it. But lately we've had linebackers that don't flow that fast. Look at these linebackers for LSU. Flowing all the way over the top, allows that cutback lane, and he gets out. Let's take a look at another play right here. Same thing. See those linebackers flow over top? Let me go back one more time. You can see. Let me go ahead and press play. Watch these linebackers. And just flowing way over the top. Allows that cutback to be wide open. And another play that I kind of want to point out right here. Look at this mesh point. So this is – I don't think LSU is going to be able to do this. If they approach a game plan like this, I would love it for Arkansas. Because see this guy screaming off the edge. You got a single high safety. This pressure's coming. See how tight he is to the line of scrimmage? I don't think teams can do that against Arkansas because of Taylon Green's running ability. If LSU does this, Arkansas will make them pay. You can see some big runs from Taylon if he makes a decision fast enough to get that ball out and get on the edge. But I just think with Taylon on the field, it takes away this element of LSU's defense to really pinch those edges down because Taylon just does a great job breaking contain time and time again. So like I said, so many things that I saw on tape, a lot to get to. But what I did see in a very close game, and there was some just wild play calls on that final drive to even allow LSU to get in scoring range. And then the play calls and decision makings in overtime, questionable too. Should have been trying to get into field goal range after it became 2nd and 25, 3rd and 25, just went for it all. It is what it is, but LSU, I think, after watching tape, know that they were very lucky to win that football game. If you're an Arkansas fan and you watch that tape, the things that should stand out is how many times LSU was in scoring position and just didn't finish the drives. How many opportunities they had to score and had a drop ball. It's all over the tape. And it wasn't so much LSU just being out of place. It was because Ole Miss was just better. And so that kind of reminds me of almost the Tennessee game when we were in scoring position. We were moving the ball so much, but we just missed a 4th and 1, a 4th and 2. We missed a potential touchdown when we threw it short to Jordan Anthony right at the first drive of the game. And so once again, it's just those little things. That's why I said, to answer your question, can Arkansas beat LSU? Absolutely. Will they? It will depend on if they can take care of those small plays, which have such a big drastic difference in the football game. Now, the only thing that I guess would be nice to see from the defensive side of the ball is almost have the same approach Ole Miss did. Take away the rush and make these guys throw the ball, which their quarterback did a decent job of throwing. I will say this too, LSU had a lot of guys out on the receivers, one guy particularly in the slot who's very dynamic. But I will say if you make them one-dimensional, LSU likes to be an extremely balanced team. If you keep them whether pass heavy or run heavy, it's really going to allow you to kind of hone in on what they're trying to do that game and really put you at an advantage. And we've shown what we can do about teams who love to rush the ball. So I think this will be the biggest test for our DBs, all right? Because we still haven't seen, just with the guys up front, if they're able to get pressure by themselves. If they can, man, it's going to be a great day for the Razorbacks. That's your little Monday breakdown. Very excited to let you know what the rest of the week has to offer. And once again, if you don't want to miss anything, what we got, we're going to go deep, heavy scouting report. We're going to make sure every 4th and 5 viewer is prepped and ready for LSU, what they're going to do on offense, special teams, defense, their tendencies on 3rd down, what player we need to go for. We're already trying to pick out a couple wink links that I think Arkansas is going to take advantage of. That's going to be our primary thing this week coming off of the bye, because that's exactly what Arkansas is doing during the bye as well. So always appreciate y'all watching. Love all the support. Oh my gosh, the support. I can't wait till we get to our viewer comment section Wednesday. I have so many cool things to tell you with what's happening with this community that we're building right here on 4th and 5. I'm so excited for what the future has to hold. Sponsors coming in, people being a part of this, subscribers just keep going up. We're going to continue to try to give you a very unique and different podcast, I guess, even though we're technically not a podcast, another source of content when it comes to following Arkansas sports. There's a whole bunch of people out there doing some amazing things, and I love all the different elements that people can grab from to try to get all the information when it comes to following the Razorbacks. And I just want to say we really appreciate the feedback that we've gotten of y'all saying y'all love what we're trying to do here. So always, if you'd like to support, the best way to do it, just hit that subscribe button. Also, can't wait till Wednesday. I got some really big announcements coming up. Y'all have a great day. You're watching 4th and 5.